You went and procured to Kano while we needed attack helicopters. Chadians went there with only 2 attack helicopters. Right now, the Joint Task Force you are talking about have only 1 helicopter. We are talking about them in Sokoto, Kebbi now. We are talking about them in Niger. They are going to Plateau. They are drawing the 2nd cycle. The main purpose of government is security and welfare of its citizens. It's there in our constitution. We cannot change it. So everything should be focused on security. Because if we say it's Borno today, and we time need to discuss it slightly, saying that we should talk about it in 2 minutes, it will one day get to Kano. So, Mr. President, this is an occasion where the Senate must be responsible. We should stand up to the occasion and demand. The the Senate president before, Senator Amelan, during his tenure, 3 times, we set up a committee. And at one time, we invited everybody. We pushed, and you were the chairman appropriation then, and we pushed the government to approve 809 billion to procure the Tucano. But it was wrongly used. You went and procured Tucano while we needed attack helicopters. If we have attack helicopters around that area now, this Boko Haram will not even go there because the Chadians went there with only 2 attack helicopters. Right now, the Joint Task Force you are talking about have only 1 helicopter. Let's ask the government to do the right thing. And I'm sure that if we tell the president, ho-ha, what to do, he will do it. He will do it. So let us stand up as Senate. We are just approving a borrowing, about 2.2 billion, to fund the budget. What budget if we are not secured?
The story is we don't have enough boots on the ground. So we need a task force of some sort that the military is able to occupy areas that it could capture, and the police and other security agencies will now be moved in to reestablish civilian authority. Mr. President, Boko Haram was defeated at one point almost completely. Some will say technically defeated. But what is important to an average citizen is not technically or completely. Our citizens, our indigents need safe and secured towns and cities and hamlets.
It is sad that we are talking about this issue in spite of the spirited efforts by the government and the armed forces of Nigeria and all other security agencies involved in combating the menace of insecurity. Time was when the activities of Boko Haram was literally wiped out or decimated. But we will continue to have this recurring decimal in Borno in particular, and then in some other parts, other forms of insecurity activities taking place. Mr. President, like he rightly pointed out, there was a time that this thing was literally nipped in the bud. But unfortunately, I think that what we failed to do was taking some proactive measures to ensure that these insurgents did not come back to the cities. At a point, the idea of holding forces was muted, in which it was agreed that a special force be trained specifically to hold the liberated areas where Boko Haram activities were taking place. But unfortunately, Mr. President, as it were, nothing of that nature has happened. And so it becomes very easy for Boko Haram and its agents to come back to areas that have been liberated by our armed forces. Mr. President, I think it was suggested on the floor of this Senate before that it doesn't solve our problem if we continue to debate and proffer solutions to the problem of insecurity, especially the activities of Boko Haram, if we do not muster the sufficient courage to give a kind of timeline to our armed forces and our security agents to nip these insecurity activities across the country. Mr. President, I think it is not correct, because I know that the Nigerian military and security agencies are professional enough to know when to start a war and when to end a war. I am not sure that those of us who are living witnesses to the Biafran War notice that the Biafran War took this long to nip in the bud. Whether it is asymmetrical or normal war, I think that we must find answers to the solution to the problem of our insecurity.
Most of us cannot easily visit and dine with our electorates because our villages are no more safe. Apart from acquiring more weapons, we need more recruit of personnel into our security agencies, because the ratio of our population to security personnel is very low. We must deliberately appropriate more funds for recruitment of our youths into the security forces. When we have that, sir, it will take care of unemployment and will also provide security to our people. Our villages are not safe. And if our electors are not safe, we are not safe too, sir.
So the havoc caused by these miscreants is very serious. So we need to nip this thing in the bud by urging the military to establish not only a super camp, but let them deploy, despite the fact they are overstretched, let them have a permanent deployment. One fact is very clear. They had a similar attack on the Chadian troops in the Republic of Chad. The president took it upon himself to command the troops of Chadian forces and wipe out these guys. So in so doing, they are now trespassing into the territorial integrity of Nigeria, the territorial borders of Nigeria, where we don't have military deployment. That is their safe haven. So something has to be done immediately by curtailing this ugly terrain. I so support